Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. We are here with NAMI and the Aurora Youth Council in the house. How y'all feeling?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. How's your weekends?
Went well. Didn't
Going
do
well?
too much, but it was really good relaxing.
Good, good. How about you, Sean Michael, Alicia?
It was good, I went hiking yesterday. It was very fun.
Okay. How about you, Alicia?
It was great. I took the biggest nap. I'm so happy to be out of school.
Right? See, for those of our viewers who don't know, the Aurora Youth Council has all our members are in high school, so they're on spring break right now and are really enjoying it. So we're going to be talking about mental health. We're covering a lot of really exciting stuff. We got it's going to be a good interview today, and we're excited to be back from the weekends.
Yeah. Very excited to get the week started.
Well, tell us about the work NAMI is doing, because we understand it's a really important organization. We want our viewers to understand the important work.
Absolutely.
Here.
So NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. So we are a non-for-profit agency that is actually nationwide. So every county has their own NAMI typically, but NAMI DuPage is where we come from. And we have programs for the individuals with diagnoses, for their family members, for their partners, for their friends, really for anybody who either has a diagnosis or walks by somebody with a diagnosis. So that includes education, it includes support groups, just a really big variety, recreation, just everything that we can do to try to help anybody that we can.
That's awesome. And are NAMI services, are they free, or what's the cost involved?
Majority of the services are free. NAMI is a peer-based agency. So almost everybody that works at NAMI or volunteers either has their own diagnosis or, again, walks along somebody with a diagnosis. So the only program that costs anything is our peer counseling. So that's somebody who's trained with their own lived experience that really does counseling with another individual. That is low cost though, and it is a sliding scale.
Okay. Oh, good. And then for the youth council, tell us about the youth council and the work you do.
All right, I'll start. So the Youth Council, we're based in the city of Aurora, and essentially we're a group of high school students. We advise the mayor and the mayor's office about the needs of the high school youth in our community. And we also start up programs that benefit the youth based on what the youth want to see in the community.
That's great. And tell us who can be a member of the youth council?
Anybody could be a member of the youth council. Just have to be in high school. We're looking for people. We're looking for people who are advocate for themselves and for others, and just being a great student overall. Just being involved in the city of Aurora, and that's pretty much it.
That's great. So we're really excited to have NAMI and the Aurora Youth Council here and talking about what the work they're doing. And tell us, what was your background growing up with mental health? Because I know as mental health has become much more of an important topic that I feel is talked about so much more today than it was, 5 years ago, even 10 years ago. It was more of those topics that you didn't really talk about. But tell us more about your experience with that as you've been growing up.
Yeah. Do you want to talk first?
I can, since I'm older.
Yeah.
So, am I close enough?
Yes.
When I grew up, no one talked about it. ever. You know, it was either everyone was fine or someone was in the hospital and you didn't talk about it or why. And we have this huge gray area between there where if we start and reach out for help early, people don't end up in the hospital, people don't end up suicidal. And because we never talked about it, when my youngest daughter, was in 5th grade and she started struggling with her mental health, I had no clue what was going on. And we called it a phase, and you're going to get over it, and don't worry about it. And so I didn't get her help early because I didn't understand and I didn't know. So to me, it's become very important to educate young people so that they can advocate for themselves and they can instruct their parents. They can say, hey, no, this is real and this is what I'm going through and I had this class. And then even if their parents don't understand, they know that they can go to other adults, they know about the 988 number, they know about other things that they can use to help themselves if they have to.
That's really great. I think it's important people know the information that's available to them. 'Cause I know, so many years ago, it was one of those things where you couldn't talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't, there was no way to get help.
Same with me. I don't want to say a little bit younger, but we do joke about it. But I had no mental health education through junior high, through high school. The only reason that I started actually learning about it was because it was an option to take a college course. So even, 10, 15 years ago, there was still no education in the school. So it's been really great to see that it's being talked about more, though, because even that it was kind of a big stigma when we were in school. So.
Oh yeah, and I remember even today, it's still quite a big stigma about talking about. I mean, less so, but it still is something where we need to have these conversations. So,
Absolutely.
And how about you for John Michael and Alicia?
I think that mental health now is very serious, and that we should be talking about it and then getting resources to help people, especially students, with the stress and then with the responsibilities that we have to go through every day with school, and then just be on top of work and all the responsibilities that we got to go through.
And how about for you, Alicia?
I think that mental health is I appreciate now that it's more well known that mental health is a real problem. But back when I was younger, I'm 16, but even when I was 11, mental health still wasn't talked about enough. And I had a friend back then, and she had some mental health struggles, but she never got help for it because we were all encouraged at our school to just keep pushing through and ignore all our problems and stuff. But now that there's organizations like NAMI and a lot more recognition that mental health is real, I think that we're really moving toward a better future.
So I think our next question is how do you feel about the future for mental health in these conversations?
I am very excited about where I think the conversation is going. I think that from when I was in high school to now, I think that there's been a huge rise in actually having conversations and realistically people that are comfortable talking about it, while still kind of recognizing that not everybody is, and there's still that stigma and there's still a lot of kind of concern surrounding it. But I do think that as we continue to just keep pushing to have the conversation and having the conversation, I do feel good about kind of where that's going. Mm-hmm.
I think the future now should be more. What do you think about it? What do you think about the future?
It's a good question.
We'll come back to that. So
I can add something. So it starts with the young people. We've seen that in the past. You guys are the ones making the change. And we're coming in and teaching you about the change, and I'm seeing so many people being open and receptive to what we're saying. Especially, I go into 5th and 6th grade, and it gets even better. And the fact that we're now teaching it is mental health is physical health, and we're seeing more and more research showing that it really is physical health. And it affects our physical health, and our physical health affects our mental health. And once people start to realize that, I think that it's going to grow. And again, it's going to start with you guys because we're educating you. You know, we get stuck in our old mindset, and even sometimes when we think we're being woke or cool, it's harder to change us. And the more you guys talk about it, the more the generation under you is going to talk about it, and the more the generation under that is going to talk about it. And soon we're going to have adults that are talking about it and okay with it. And my daughter is a prime example because she'll tell everyone about it. She loves that I do this. She's gotten trained to be we call it a resource support specialist, but it's a peer counselor. She's been trained in youth mental health first aid. All her friends in high school knew that she went to a therapeutic school part-time, everything she went through. And because of that, they started reaching out for help. They started saying, oh, I can do this. Or, oh, it's okay to step away. And she's in college now, and everyone there knows what she's going through. And some people have gone to her and said, yeah, I've had these struggles, or I've been in the hospital, and I felt alone, and now I know I can talk to you. And that's where it is. And I feel good about your generation and the kids a little bit older than you. You guys have been amazing in the things that you have opened up to and done and said, hey, it's okay to be like this for so many things, not just mental health. That's my place, but for everything. And I think we keep working with you guys, and that's where we're going to go.
That's great. I think it's always so important for people to realize that mental health is a conversation that, when it's held, it's every day. It's with people where everyone is talking about it, everyone is bringing it up, and I think that's so important, especially for where we're at, today here as a city, as a nation. So I think it's a very important conversation to be held. Good morning, Josie Mendoza-Geller, friends of Saul A. Levis. You can check him out. He's running for school board in District 131. And Maria Trito. The time is now 8:13. So tell us about some of the programs and partnerships you're doing for mental health and bring awareness to the resources available to mental health.
We should talk about the essay contest.
Yes. So the big program that we're trying to do right now is a kind of an essay contest. We are kind of working in the details now, but we're working together on getting this contest going for essays, for poems, and for artistic work throughout all of the schools that are in the Aurora districts, and really just trying to get the students to really talk about it. What was your experience? What do you think that your schools need? How does it make you feel? What does it look like to you, mental health in general? So we're partnering together to get these out into each one of the schools, and I'm so excited about it. We're going to try to get them out, I think, early April into the schools, and then everybody have a little bit of time and hopefully get them in by November. We are working on some of the prizes with hoping that one is going to be getting published. We're still kind of looking at that, but just some really cool ideas and really wanting to hear the voices of the students that are in Aurora.
And for Jean-Michael and Alicia, tell us about your involvement in helping plan this.
I'm partnering with NAMI. We had a couple meetings. We had a couple meetings about this essay contest, and I'm very glad about this essay contest. So with the essay contest, it's also what she said was we're going to have projects, essays. We're going to have poems. The poems and the essays and all the the art, it's going to be maybe published into to a book that we were trying to get signed and published, and maybe getting recognized by the Aurora, the city of Aurora, by the mayor, with the prizes. I think that this essay project would be helpful to the youth and to the future because, we all go through mental health, I think that mental health is a very serious thing, and we should just, problem solve and through it so we can all understand what mental health brings a toll on us.
I agree. And having those published is like, yes, it's an incentive, but I think it's also being able to kind of hear each other and resonate with maybe somebody else's story. That's a big thing for NAMI too. That's part of what we do, is share our own stories and really try to have people relate to and be like, oh, okay, look at, where they were and where they are now, or yeah, that's something that I felt or that I've gone through. So I think even with these like essays and these poems and these art, somebody may be able to look at it and say, I feel that same way, and that's okay. So really resonating with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's so important and relevant for today, because there's so many people who think that, it's normal to not be okay and to not feel like you want to, wake up that morning or get out. But that's not true. There's people in everyone's lives who care for them and care enough that they want to have these conversations. They're willing to have hard, difficult conversations. And I think that the essay contest seems like such a great way for all of us to have a conversation about this, to bring awareness to this. And again, this will be in all the schools. And you said, when does this start?
So we are hoping to get the flyers out into the schools by mid-April. And then the deadline will be the first week of November to get any submissions. So this is going to be open for, I'm going to get this right, sophomores, juniors, and seniors for the next year.
So it was a freshman, sophomore, junior this year.
So incoming freshmen or sophomores, juniors, seniors.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's again, that seems like such a great opportunity for people to learn more about mental health and come to terms with perhaps how they feel about it. So pivoting a little bit, what was your the first time you really thought about like your mental health, like you were like consciously, like you're like, oh, my mental health is kind of important. What was that first time for you? And Alicia, if you want to start.
Yeah, sure. So in elementary school, I was a part of the honors track, and my third grade honors teacher, Mrs. Jacobs, she meant a lot to me, but she moved, and she was replaced with this teacher who I wasn't really familiar with. So that was basically like my main support system, because she was like the person that I went to talk to, and I told like all my secrets to her, and she left, and I emailed her, and she didn't email me back. So Ms. Jacobs, if you're seeing this, but that's when I kind of evaluated like how much I was putting on this one person. Like I would have her as like my only support system, and I just got to thinking like maybe I need to expand the people that I trust and the people that I rely on.
Yeah, that's so important and so relevant for where we are here in our lives.
I think I can remember it when I was in third grade. I had this teacher, Miss Paulus, and every day she was like I come into school and she would just warm me up every day, and ever since that day and since that grade, I was like missed going back to her class, feeling that energy. And then ever since I moved and like moved on to different classes, different grades, I got a mental health, and what I'm saying, like it brought a toll on my mental health. Like that teacher was very important to me because she believed in me, that I can improve on being myself. And
So I think mine was a little bit older. I think when I look back now, like I recognize some of those feelings when I was younger, but kind of when it was conscious was really in high school. I have my own diagnosis, which I talk about a lot. I have social anxiety. So really when I was about 16 is when I started thinking like, okay, this is what mental health is. This may be what I'm going through, and recognizing those signs. Because again, before then, we didn't have any education. So I think that I had some friends who said they had their own diagnosis, but it was never really like like a conscious thing about me. It was just kind of like a statement.
Yeah.
So I think probably when I was in high school is when I was really like, okay, this is something going on with my mental health. This is what's going on here. So yeah.
So my story's a little different because I did grow up when we didn't talk about it at all. And there were times that I struggled and didn't struggle. I didn't know what it was. I had horrible test anxiety. When finals and midterms came around, my mom, she knew this. And when I was in college, back when you had to use a real phone and it cost money to talk to people, long distance, she would call and I'd be like, oh my God, this is awful and I hate school and I'm going to quit. She's like, is it midterms? Yeah, why? I'll talk to you next week. And then she'd call me next week. How are you, Karen? Yeah, fine. How's school? Fine. Yeah. Why? And I think had I learned to manage test anxiety back then, as I got older and other things started coming up, I would have known how to manage those. I've never got a diagnosis, but when I knew that I was really struggling and said, hey, let's take medicine, is when my daughter was in and out of hospitals. Because at that point, I started understanding more. I was under so much stress. I was really dealing with stuff. And I finally said to my doctor, I think I might need something. And I got to tell you, again, there's a stigma behind medication, especially with adults, because when we grew up, there were only like 2 different kinds of medications you could take. Yeah. And we were all afraid, our creativity is going to go away because that's what it did. Some of them did to some people. And I didn't understand we have so many more types now. And I started the medication, and a couple days later, I'm like, I feel more like me. I thought it was going to take my creativity away. I thought it was going to be less. I felt more like me. And that's another thing I really feel it's important for adults and young people to know, is that it doesn't have to. Your medication should be making your chemicals work the way they're supposed to so that you feel like you. And if they aren't, then that's not the right thing for you. And I know I went off the topic, but
yeah.
But those are the things that I learned from the time I was young and struggling on and off to recognizing what's going on with me that was able to help my daughter as well.
And I think it's everyone's story and relationship with mental health is so different. So it's, everyone has a different experience and a different way with how they come to terms with that, and in some cases how they realize that their mental health is something that they need to talk more about. Good morning, Matt Hansen. Good morning, Tracy Duran. And good morning, Dan Barrero. We got news today, so help our friends of the Neighbor Project win the Choose Your Charity promotion sponsored by Old National Bank. The nonprofit that receives the most votes will win a $5,000 donation from Old National. Participation is fun and easy. You can vote once a day until March 31st. So vote, 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 and support our efforts to uplift and strengthen our neighbors and the Aurora community. Vote for the Neighbor Project using the link that we'll be posting in the chat. On Wednesday, April 12th, join the Neighbor Project, AID, and the Hesed House for an excellent seminar and discussion titled Housing 101, The Need for Affordable Housing in our communities. This will take place at Wesley United Methodist Church, located at 14 North May Street on Aurora's west side, and will be from noon to 5 p.m. And the topic of discussion will be focused on the need and creation of more affordable housing options in southern Kane County and the city of Aurora. Boxed lunches, including vegetarian options, will be provided. Registration is required. To do so, you can scan the QR code that we have posted to the link on our flyer, or you can visit the link that we'll also be sharing. And on Good Friday, April 7th, there will be a great community event taking place at the Eola Center at 555 Eola Road. This event will be from noon to 3 p.m. and is hosted by the Collier Community Center and sponsored by Angela Collier, 9th Ward Alderman Edward Bugg, and 8th Ward Alderwoman Patty Smith. This event is free and open to the public and will feature food, entertainment, and prizes. And you can see the flyer that we'll be posting for more details. So come and have fun. So touching back on the time is 8:26. So touching back on mental health, what are the services that NAMI is providing right now for individuals who are in need And
Sure. Yeah. So we are a pretty, I kind of brag a little bit about NAMI DuPage because we are one of the bigger NAMIs. So we're able to provide a little bit more resources. We have kind of different sections. So we have an individual with a diagnosis over the age of 18. That one has, I will say, the most robust services. That's where you get the recovery support specialist or the peer counseling services. You have individual support groups. You have dual diagnosis support groups. So with a mental health diagnosis and substance abuse. We have just a lot kind of more really services for that age group and the people with the, the living room. Could I forget about the living room?
Tell us about the
living room is a great program that we have. So it's located in first of all, NAMI is in Wheaton. We're located within the health department's community center, so on the government complex. Within there, we have a small room that we call the living room, and it's really kind of a different pathway for individuals in crisis so they don't have to go to the emergency room. So it's kind of staffed by a recovery support specialist. So it's open from Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. And individuals in crisis are able to just walk into the building, come right up to the desk and say, I'm here to, visit the living room. We'll have them kind of get checked in. And then we do have somebody from the health department crisis center come over just to make sure that it's a safe space for them, that they don't need additional support. They're able to go spend some time kind of de-escalating that situation, creating a plan if needed, and then they're able to leave. They are checked out again to make sure that they are safe to leave, and they're able to kind of go about their day with this plan in place. So this is definitely such an amazing program, and I think that one that is underutilized. So the living room is really great if you ever need anything or someone to just talk when you're in crisis. So we have that. We have Karen and I are the youth department. We're very small, but we like to say that we're the fun department.
Oh, yeah.
So we are able to go out. We provide a lot of education services. That's our biggest thing right now. So we have our Ending the Silence program, which has a ton of presentations within it. So Ending the Silence for high school students started in DuPage County. It was not created by us, but it was created by our predecessors, which is really, really cool. And we were actually able to get that evidence-based and then gift it to NAMI National. So that program is now used nationwide. And we have actually, I have not, but NAMI DuPage has created Ending the Silence 101. So that's for 7th and 8th grade students. And both that one and the high school one really kind of follow a lot of the same information. So we talk about the warning signs of mental health. What is mental health? We do go over suicide. We go over how to help yourself, your safe and trusted adults, how to help your friends when they're struggling or when they need additional support. And recovery is Karen's favorite quote is recovery is not just possible, it's probable. Love that. I think really just having that message of hope incorporated into that. And then after that education portion of it, we have somebody come in and share their own story. So sharing from first warning sign through when they've kind of started their treatment to where they are now. And again, just really resonating in that story of hope and seeing that they may have been in this lower place, this darker place, but look where they are now. And they did what they needed to do. So those are really the 7th, 8th, and high school. We have our jump into mental health, which is 5th and 6th grade now. We just started 5th grade. I'm sorry, my voice is getting a little crazy here. We just started in 5th grade this past school year in 204. So that's been something that we've been really excited about and I think has really come across. I mean, it's very much needed, even at the 5th grade and even younger. Going over the difference between everyday feelings versus those overwhelming feelings, how to, again, help ourselves and help our friends. Those are really our biggest programs, is anything through Ending the Silence.
We have the staff and the family program too. We don't do that nearly as much, but it's Ending the Silence, but it's telling staff how they can help young people in the school and the families how they can help their young people, but the staff also how to work with the families, and the families how to work with the staff. We don't do it nearly as much, but that's available. And then we have your stress relief program.
We'll talk a little bit about that too.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a stress relief program for middle schools and for high school students, where I'm able to go in to the school. We do it in schools, we do it in libraries, we've done it in churches, so anywhere around the community, just talking about the stress that, you know, high school students and middle school students are going through. And it's not just the school, it's kind of everything else. We touch on, you know, how things were affected through COVID, kind of all these different areas, and then what we can do to help our stress levels, and really kind of expanding on what can we do for ourselves, when do we need to reach out for help, what can ongoing stress do to your body and your mental health. So really just trying to get some of this information out. We do have a teen support group that I'm in the middle of redoing. We have a closed one, but kind of seeing what that last one did. So it's close to 10 teens.
Okay. So there's limited availability.
Yes.
Okay.
And it lasts 6 weeks. But we have right now over 40 teens on our wait list.
Wow.
So there is such a need for these services, and it's really just a safe space for teens to come in and talk about what they've been going through and make these connections and feel like they have that community. So right now we're trying to rework it a little bit to create an ongoing teen support group. So we have the space, we have the time, we just need the staff and to get it started, and that would just really be open to any teen high school aged to come in once a week for the support group, and really just make it ongoing, so there's no limit and there's no stop date.
Wow, that's great. Like, so many of these programs that are offered seem to be a really great resource to the community. So for our listeners out there, if there's anyone in your life that you know would greatly benefit from these, you're more than welcome to check them out. And where can people reach you?
So they can either come in for information. It's 115 North County Farm Road in Wheaton, or they can give us a call at 630-752-0066. You can ask for me. This is my morning voice. This is not good.
You know what? So we have this thing called, so we sip it up whenever we mess something up, or we're having our time. You sip it up.
Okay, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. But yeah, so you can either walk in, you can call. I'll give out my email address. My email address is b.mahoney, MAHONEY, at NAMIDuPage.org. I mean, we're really open. We want to help people. We want people to know who we are. And, if I can't help you, I will do my best to find somebody who can.
Can I plug a couple other things?
Yeah.
All right. So we also have support groups for parents.
Oh,
so
support.
if you have a child under 18 that is dealing with a mental health condition, I actually am one of the facilitators on the second and fourth Monday of the week. It's on Zoom. You go online, you sign up, because we don't want Zoom bombers. So you go online and you sign up for that. And I have watched from the beginning of a session to the end of a session, parents go, I'm not alone in what I'm going through. And I think that's really helpful. We also, if you go online, we have a NAMI's Basics class, which is for parents with young people under 18 to learn more about mental health. Right now, it's an as you go, what's it called?
On demand.
On demand, but
yeah,
it's
on
also, you take it at your own time pace.
Oh, that's
And then
great.
we have support groups for people with family over 18, and we have the Families to Families, which is education for people with family over 18. The other thing we do is we're part of the CYT.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that? Because I think that's really important, because I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah. So CYT is a committee, super, super quick plug, that has a couple different agencies that work together specific to youth. So we meet once a month and kind of just talk about the needs, what's going on, specifically, again, to the youth. We meet actually at Kids Matter in Naperville, and right now they're doing a program called Kindness Counts.
Kindness
So we're
Counts,
trying
okay.
to get people to send in. We have specific postcards that people can write in, and just writing or drawing like random acts of kindness, sending those in, and then the committee is going to be able to post them in the community. And I think, again, it's just kind of bringing like a smile to people's faces and just really resonating in that kindness that you experience or that you give.
That's really great. That's something you offer. Kindness counts. We're gonna have to start doing that somewhere. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So tell us about your experience. Have you used some of the programs that NAMI provides, or?
I haven't used NAMI programs, but I have used a mental health organization. It was during a couple months ago, a while back. I was going through something, and my mom, she helped me out, and she put me on an organization. And something like what NAMI offers is Zoom meetings. And I was on a Zoom meeting every other week, and it was just helped me out with my situation. I think mental health with Zoom meetings and everything else works out.
I agree.
Really does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's a great program that you can even talk with people on Zoom. You don't have to go anywhere. If that's something you don't want to do, you can just walk in, or you can call up. You're like, hey, I want to go in. That's great. And for you, Alicia?
I participated in the kindness counts. I mean, participated not the right word. I did it, and I need to submit it. But I learned about it through the Live Teen Center, and I was like, this is a great opportunity for us to know more about like what's going on in our community and like how people are making other people's day amazing. So I really appreciate that you're involved in that. And also, I think I might be wrong on this, but for middle school and high school, we had Ending the Silence.
Yep.
And honestly, I think it brought a lot of perspective to a lot of the students, because many of us at the time in middle school, we were like, oh, mental health is a very distant problem. Like, it doesn't affect our day-to-day. We don't know anyone with, like, mental health struggles or issues. But, like, when people came in to talk to us, we felt a lot more connected to mental health and to getting help and support, and we had a lot more resources. And the card of, like, common signs of, like, mental health, I have that. I have all of them. I've kept all of them.
That's amazing.
They mean a lot to me, and they've actually come in handy a couple times. So I really appreciate that you have those resources.
That's really awesome. And what's that card again? Is that resources available to students?
It's like a two-sided thing. The front side, it has like common like warning signs for like a mental health issue. I think it was like common signs of like depression. Oh, there it is. And on the back, it has like resources.
Oh, let's see if we can zoom in on that.
Yeah, so the back has
There you
the top 10 kind of warning signs for its, depression, anxiety, any kind of diagnosis, really focusing on those general warning signs. And then the front has updated resources. So it has 988, it has the Trevor Project, it has like chat lines, it has call lines, it has computer and text lines. So any way of communicating when you need it, it's going to be on that card. That's
really great. I think it's a great. It's great that we're talking about this and some of these things. I mean, I don't think some of us were aware of. I mean, before today's interview, so that's great. So,
do we have time to talk about that 988 number, because I think it's a really
yes,
important resource for young people.
Yeah, let's cover that. I think that's
thank
very
you
important.
for letting me interrupt. Because a lot of times kids don't know where they can go. And there's less resources and less places for kids to go, and they're beholden to, can my parents drive me or things like that. 988, you can call anytime, anywhere. It takes the place of that long suicide hotline, but it's not just for suicide. It's not even just for crisis. It's, I need to talk, and I can't find that trusted adult, or it's the middle of the night, I don't want to wake up anyone, or I just feel so alone. And you can call 988 and just talk to them. You can call 988 if you're worried about a friend. You have that little card and there's those warning signs and it's kind of this but not that, and I don't know what to do, and I don't want to start getting an adult involved unless I know. You can call it. There's 3 prompts that you can go to. The first one is for vets. They have a specific line for vets if they want to reach out for their mental health, because it's different. They're going through something different and they need to talk to someone who understands that. The second line is in Spanish. The third line goes straight to the Trevor Project, which is for LGBTQ plus youth. and you used to have to memorize that big long number. So now they don't have to do that. There's a number just to go there. Again, they have special sets of circumstances that they need someone who understands on that other end. And then you stay on, or you just stay on, and it goes to a regular person. And it starts in DuPage. If you call from DuPage, it goes to DuPage Center. And if that's full, it goes to an Illinois center. If that's full, it goes to a national center. So those phone calls get picked up very quickly. The other thing I think it's really important for youth to know is that their goal is 80 to 90% of the calls get handled on the phone, and no one outside gets contacted. It's just on the phone. They de-escalate, they help make plans, and they give resources. They've met that 80%, and it's only been going since June, July. For that other 10 to 20% where they might have to call in a crisis team or first responders, they stay on the phone. They talk about they tell the dispatcher it needs to be CIT trained responders coming. That means they've had 40 or more hours of vigorous training on mental health and substance abuse calls. We want a social worker there. They can also say things, and I know that when I was at a school, I was there over 2 days, and the counselor called overnight to talk to 988 and ask them the questions, and another teacher, her husband's an EMT, so he confirmed all these things. They might say things like, we need someone over there, she needs a social worker, and I know you have to now also send a crisis team, but you don't have to send the crisis team in until the social worker comes. Everyone's safe, so you keep those officers and EMTs outside until the social worker gets there. Or, they have a lot of anxiety, please come without the lights and the sirens going. So they make sure that this is appropriate for what is actually happening at the time, instead of everyone coming in like, oh my gosh, this is an emergency, and then that ramps up the anxiety of the person who's struggling, which just, leads us down this horrible spiral of things being handled wrong. And they'll stay on the line while those first responders and those social workers get there and help make sure that the response is as it should be for the call that's happening there. So I know that was a really long plug, but I also know there's a lot of misinformation on social media. So then the kids, you're on the social media, and then you're going, oh, I'm never going to call 988. No, please. I've been following this. I've been researching it. We had that teacher and that counselor calling, and we used it with my daughter, actually, one day when she was at school, and she was at college, and she was having a really tough time, and she called me, and she wasn't listening to Mom. I said, do you want to talk to someone else? Should we call 988? She's like, yeah, okay. And we got on the phone together, and they were able to de-escalate her and help her make a plan for that night and for the next day. So I highly recommend. They're not going to pick up the phone and call your parents. They're not going to call an EMT right away unless it's absolutely necessary. They don't want to do that. They want to handle it on the phone.
So that's really great that you have this 988 number, and it just recently became a national thing, I believe.
Yeah.
And you said it was in July.
Yeah, they've been working on it for 5 or more years because it's national, and they had to have enough people trained to do it. They had to have the systems in place, phone lines and things like that. And some areas have actual crisis teams. Not everyone is quite the same place. DuPage County, we're really lucky because we're one of the better staffed ones.
Well, that's really great. And so tell us about your experience with, so I know you mentioned you used that. What are some other resources in the community that you've used, and how did they benefit you?
I've used, like I said, like the Zoom meetings. I use those. There's mental facilities and safe places that you can get help. I know there's some place in Aurora, right, Gabriel? There's a mental health facilities. I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, there's. Oh.
I think so. Can you say it again? Oh, Linden Oaks.
Linden Oaks. Yeah, I know there's a health center for you through our who are going through depression or other various, mental health issues. So there's definitely, it seems like a lot of programs on top of what NAMI offers to the community.
There's 360 Youth Services.
I was going to plug them too.
They're the Alive Center. It's not for people with mental health conditions, but they just opened. They opened in Aurora a little bit ago, and they have one in Naperville, and I think they're opening one in Hanover Park. And it's not for mental health, but it's a place where young people can go, and connection is so important when it comes to mental health. Actually, the CYT that we were talking about before is all having us read a book about being together and how important that is. And so it has a community there, and so I would plug the Alive Center, and since we're at Aurora, especially that Aurora Center, and they have a lot of different things that young people can do, and it's kind of young people run. You can pick the ones you want to do.
Yes, I think Alicia is part of the Alive Center.
I'm going to plug the Alive Center real quick. I go to the Naperville and the Aurora location, and they have drop-in. I think it's like every day from 3 to 7 p.m., and if you're looking for a community, if you're a teen or you're a parent of a teen, and you're looking for a community for your child to feel loved and to feel welcome, then go to the Alive Center, because out of all the resources that I know in our community, none of them provides the same level of like interpersonal connection as Alive does. So if you want friends, go to Alive.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. And I also, a little disclaimer, I also work with the Alive Center, so they have some great, again, they have some really great programs that they offer youth, and I believe they offer youth mental aid training. Is that
Youth mental health first
yes,
aid? They do, along with Linden Oaks. So does NAMI. I'm a trained facilitator, I'm a trainer. I'm an instructor. It's a great thing once you hit 18, or if you're an adult that works with children or has children. It's phenomenal, and I think they find a way to offer it for free, and we offer it for free as well.
And I don't know if it's the Alive Center or if it's Linden Oaks maybe, but they actually have a teen youth mental health first aid. So it is taught by a teen to other teens.
Oh, that's great.
And
I
think it might be Linden Oaks, but I could have a little extra research on that. But that could be a really great thing too.
I think Linden Oaks does it with Kids Matter.
Okay.
Which is another part of our that coalition that we're part of.
See, that's the power of community is there's a lot of organizations out there that are offering these some really great services, and most of them are free of charge. Mm-hmm. The Alive Center, most of their programs are free of charge. They don't cost anything. So, what's the motto at the Alive Center?
Teen-led, teen-driven.
And it's also just show up. So, it's youth-led and youth-driven, and it's very, very great program. Yeah. Good morning, Jonathan Rosenthal and Gloria Gerardo. Matt Hansen says GMA is even more glorious when our friend the sun is present. Yeah, we got some sun today. Yesterday was really rainy and gray, so we got the sun shining out. And stay tuned for the Aurora weather reports that we're posting every single day. The time is now 8:49, so we're landing the plane. And tell us, you can each take this. What's your advice to the people? What's the thing you want our viewers to know?
I can start. I'd say if you take anything away from this, just know that there are resources out there. I know Kids Matter was mentioned, Alive, Linden Oaks, NAMI. Honestly, if you look for something in the area, you'll probably find something else, and then on and on and on. So there are a lot of resources in DuPage, in the Aurora Naperville region. So if you ever feel like you need something or there's nowhere you can go, then there are a lot of resources in this episode that you can look at. There are people here who can help you. You can reach out to either of them, or if you want to be involved with youth or with the Aurora Youth Council, you can reach out to us and just take advantage of your resources.
I can add on top of that, do your research, please. There's a lot of resources that we offer, and not just for the city of Aurora, everywhere, just like NAMI, DuPage, and Alive, and a lot more. And that doing your research, it does help out. It gets off your stress and it relieves you. And then,
I agree. I think Karen and I are going to have some similar ones here. But I think the biggest thing every time I talk about something regarding mental health, whether it's giving information on NAMI or ending the silence or my own story, is just knowing and really feeling that if you are struggling, you're not alone in that struggle, and that there are people out there that are here to support you, that are here to listen to you, that are here that can help you, and to really just jump out and talk about it. If you haven't talked about it, reach out to NAMI, reach out to another support, reach out to a trusted adult, someone. Use this. We always say use ending the silence as a kind of a catalyst to start it, but use this podcast as a catalyst to start that conversation. Hey, I listened to this podcast this morning. This is what they talked about. Let's have a conversation about it, and keep that conversation going.
And yeah, we're pretty much along the same lines. I guess I would add to it, it's never too early to ask for help. You don't have to have a warning sign to say, hey, I'm struggling. Let me figure out why this causes me anxiety. Let me figure out why I'm feeling down. And how do I help myself? How do I learn that? So that I can do that before it becomes a problem. And we like to say, we go to get a physical once a year. We go to the dentist twice a year. I think everyone should see a therapist once or twice a year just to make sure we're managing our emotions. You know, we can't control them, but we know how to manage them and how to deal with them. And that's what's important. And so, yeah, I'm having a little anxiety over this. Okay, why? What's making me feel anxious about this? And okay, now that I know what it is, what kind of coping mechanisms do I use? Because we all have different coping mechanisms. We all have different things that make us feel better. So I would say get help early, get help often, and don't feel bad about it.
And don't give up on the first time if it doesn't work.
Yes. Lots and lots of different kinds of therapies out there, lots of different therapists out there. If the first thing doesn't work for you, that's fine. You're an individual. Go for something else.
Yeah, that's super important. I remember there's this old poem that they used to say was try again. You know, if in going it's really hard, just try again. And I know this is very cliche, like everyone read that poem when they were, third grade, but it is so true. You gotta, if something doesn't work or it's not working personally for you, you gotta pivot and move. And again, with everyone here in today's episode, it's been something where each of you has had a different relationship with mental health. Each of you came to terms with mental health differently and in different ways. So it's a really great way to know that there's many resources for just help with different needs. And again, it's super important that people get the resources they need. You can call the 988 number, and you can get connected with different programs like the Trevor Project. And so make sure you use those resources. The time is now 8:54, and Cakes by Cook says another great program for LGBTQIA youth is Youth Outlook.
Yes.
Yay, thank you for that. Yes.
True.
Yeah, that's... Tell us a little more about Youth Outlook.
I don't know a whole lot about it. I think it's similar to the Alive Center, as it's a drop-in center, but it is specifically for LGBTQ plus youth, and they have supports there and things like that. We've met a couple times. We've met the people who work there. They are phenomenal. Someone I know, their child goes there or went there, and just had a really, really great experience. So I would definitely recommend them from what I've heard and everything I've seen.
From Outlook. Well, that's great. And Rockwell Ortez says, good morning, buenos dias. So what does the future look like for mental health programs? You feel that you're excited, you're optimistic? What's that look like?
Oh, okay. Well, I have to say, this may be kind of more of a realist view, but I think it all depends on whether or not you take action, you specifically. So this is kind of a personal anecdote, but I have a pain issue, and I got it diagnosed a while back, and I was really hesitant to do it because I didn't trust my body. I didn't trust that what I was feeling was real. And one thing that my mom told me kind of changed my perspective. She said, trust your body because you're you. And if you think that you need help, that's the number one priority for you. So if you don't get that help, then you won't progress farther and farther into a more healthy lifestyle. So all you have to do is just make that change, and things will get better. So the future will be better if you make the change.
I love that. I do like that you kind of put a realistic spin on it, because I think in my head, if everything went perfectly well, like it's this great future that we have ahead of us. But I do agree that we need to continue to work at it. We need to continue to talk about it. We need to continue to really support each other and support ourselves. I think that one of the biggest things, one of the biggest barriers right now, and I know it is, 50% of youth don't seek treatment because of stigma. So they just continuing to talk about it, continuing to just hopefully create a more natural conversation around it and make it something that is normal to have a conversation about. I think we just really need to keep going at it and keep making sure that we're doing it every step of the way, and that we're not just kind of taking any steps back. Yeah.
Well, thank you again, and I think we have something that qualifies as breaking news. There we go. So before the show, we were talking about your gala.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes. So NAMI is a nonprofit organization. So we do run off of donations. We do fundraisers. We do have grant funding, but we don't get any. I don't think we get any from state or federal. So it's all local. So we do host fundraisers every year. We have our gala coming up. It's a masquerade theme on May 6th. You can get more information or order tickets on our website, namidupage.org. It's going to be an amazing night. It's going to be at the Marriott in Naperville. Dinner, dancing, magician, lots of fun, just a good night out.
Auctions.
Yeah.
Silent auctions.
And live auctions. A lot of really good stuff. So if you want to attend, again, namidupage.org, or give us a call if you would like to sponsor or donate. Again, give us a call, let us know, or just pop by. We also have a run coming up on June 10th. I think we're still ironing out some of the details on that, but we always have that. One of them is our Run for the Mind. So that is just a run through the DuPage County complex. Anybody can attend, and we haven't had that information posted yet, but that's going to be the first run. This year, we're working together with a couple different organizations to do a teen-led run too, with the Teen Ambassador, which is a lot of teens from the Glenbard districts, and that's going to be a color run. So keep your eye out on the website for that, because hopefully that'll be posted soon. But the gala is already up on there, and we are very excited about that.
And we can always use volunteers for the gala, young and old. It takes a lot to put it on. We need lots of donations for those silent auctions. So if you have a business that you would like to donate something for, we would be happy to take that. And I don't feel bad about plugging this and asking for this, because, again, all of our stuff is either free or very low cost. And the only way we can do that is by having these fundraisers and making this money.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So the time is 8:59. I feel like we covered it. We landed the plane, and you can stay tuned for more information from NAMI and the Aurora Youth Council. You can find them on Facebook,
Instagram, Twitter, and at namidupage.org.
And for the Youth Council, I believe they're on Facebook, so you can find more information. They're out there. And on our tomorrow at 8 o'clock, our Buenos Dias Aurora will be going live, so stay tuned for a really great interview there. Take care of yourself and each other.